This world is one planet of many different people. From the electric coast of Rio de Janeiro,
passeio no shopping, cinema, boliche. A gente acha que assim os meninos eles ficam com um vínculo mais forte e isso é muito bom pro time.
to the technological haven of Seoul in South Korea,
감사하신 것 같아요. 항상 손편지도 써주시고.
and the suburbs of California's Silicon Valley.
He threatened to beat me up. And I was like, all right, dude, good luck.
But for all of our differences, one thing unites us. All countries, together in a common enterprise. League of Legends. As the most played esport in the world, League of Legends has it all. A dedicated professional league, a massive fan base, and an ever-increasing roster of inspired champions. For most people, this is a brand new world. But the elites who fight in it rely on a tool as old as time itself to achieve victory. These are their stories.
Akuma will clean up that army. They want to do it. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. In favor of Dustin White Shield, the game is not quite over yet. The KT bullet.
I was never really into traditional sports the way I was into video games. I don't know what it was, maybe playing Little League and getting hit in the face by a baseball just turned me off to the whole thing. But when I first heard about esports, it was when I was playing like Brood War and Warcraft 3, and I had heard about people like Boxer and these Korean pro gamers that like there were actually big tournaments around that. It was kind of hard for me to imagine what all that was like. And I never anticipated it being as big of a deal as it is now.
South Korea has had gaming culture ingrained in their society for a long time, and it's a big thing there. So there's a lot more funding and a lot more training, and everything's a lot more serious.
Everyone looks to Korea, and Korea they're really proficient in esports, so they always find the most effective way to play a game.
이름은 조세걸이고요. 이제 나진 실드 팀의 아이디는 나진 와치. 네, 한 번씩 경기를 끝난 날 팬분들이 오셔서 경기 끝나고 팬미팅 때 먹을 걸 주시거나 가끔 옷도 주시고 되게 감사하신 것 같아요. 항상 손편지도 써주시고. 아무래도 저희 한국에서 열리는 롤챔스 지난 시즌, 윈터 시즌.
And with only Leopard remaining, there the Nexus will go, and Najin White Shield starts a bit of a comeback here. The crowd's excited about that one. GG.
가장 짜릿했던 순간이었던 것 같아요.
A double kill for Watch, actually. And Goong takes another one. Are you kidding me? Goong's so low. Moffat the only one left. He does that as late. Oh, a triple kill though for Watch, and that's an ace in favor of Najin White Shield. The game is not quite over yet.
팀원 모두 5명이 좋은 경기력을 발휘할 수 있어서 가장 기뻤던 것 같아요.
They're going for the Nexus turrets, and that is it.
유리야, 네. 너 게임 좀 들어가 줄래? 요즘에?
선수들이 항상 한 경기를 위해서 많은 날들을 연습에 투자하고, 그리고 제가 한 회사에 소속이 돼 있어서 한 회사의 이미지를 어떻게 잘 보여야 돼서 그런 부담감 같은 것도 없지 않아 있어서 항상 경기를 위해서 열심히 하는 선수들이 경기에 대해 지거나 했을 때 되게 큰 스트레스로도 올 수 있어서 항상 열심히 준비해서 항상 승리만을 생각하죠.
Whenever you are sitting there trying to succeed and you're dissecting everything, it's no longer just like, oh, let me hop into a video game after work. It's a lot of just consistent grinding out to get good in the practice.
For the most part, the way I see it is when you're playing professionally, you have to take your game like a job, and you have to treat it like a job. You have to put in the work, efforts. You know, your passion needs to be there if you want to truly be the best.
League of Legends is really interesting in comparison to a lot of other MOBAs and RTSs just because the very unique design philosophy that Riot has.
It's taking kind of the fantasy genre and kind of having some whimsical violence thrown in because you have characters like a Lulu who's kind of very silly, or an Annie who's a little girl who shoots a fire bear. I think it taps into some whimsy that's lacking from hard fantasy.
League of Legends is a 10-man game. There's 5 players on each team. There's an AD carry, a support, a mid laner, a top laner, and a jungle. The AD carry is kind of like the guy that kind of carries his team on his back. He's like the strongest guy. He has the support helping him to make him stronger. He just worries about helping his team and making sure they get as strong as they can be.
And all they're trying to do is trying to take the enemy's team's nexus, which is like their final base. A lot of game is determined by how well your team is able to coordinate and communicate and figure out what the opposing team is able to do.
If you really want to win your lane in League of Legends, you know, you need some good ganks, or you need to work well with your support, or unless you're playing mid, you need other help. You need that voice chat to be able to kind of communicate, okay, hey, I'm coming in for a gank, or this guy's missing up top, so be careful.
In competitive gaming, and specifically in League of Legends, the Korean scene is just incredibly strong. Those players certainly know how to win games of League of Legends, and they tend to dominate. Whereas on the other hand, you have a lot of up-and-coming regions like Brazil, Oceania, etc. that these are teams and players that are just sort of figuring themselves out.
Eu gosto de dizer que a gente está muitos anos atrás da Coreia e de outros países da Ásia e Europa. Eu acho que precisa ter um pouco menos de preconceito e aceitação da imprensa. Para isso, assim a gente consegue crescer mais.
In 2013, Brazil became the first country in South America to have an esports gaming house, thanks to the tireless efforts of Pain Gaming.
A nossa gaming house foi investimento muito arriscado da organização da PEN, porque foi a primeira no Brasil, a gente foi os pioneiros, a gente enfrentou muitos problemas por causa disso.
Já está mais fácil, porém no passado eu tive que investir muito do meu próprio dinheiro, poucas pessoas acreditavam na ideia e foi difícil ter a aceitação das pessoas próximas de mim.
Eu admiro muito o Pada, que foi o cara que criou não só a PEN LoL como a PEN. Ele investiu muito na gente quando o esporte estava nem dando retorno ainda para ele. Ele gastou muito com a gente, apostou na gente e a gente trouxe os resultados que ele esperava.
Campeonato Brasileiro de 2013, o CBLOL. Depois de uma fase de grupos um pouco boa, a gente acho que só perdeu para a CNB. A gente passou na semifinal contra a RMA, se não me engano, e foi pra final. Eu acho que a gente tava bem confiante, porém logo no primeiro jogo.
A Lux também, ele consegue ativar os zonas, vai acabar morrendo, caiu outro da torre do time da PEN, o Nexus está sendo focado, ninguém voltou, e a equipe da CNB. A gente teve um baque, a gente perdeu o primeiro jogo, mas a gente não deixou de acreditar, a gente conversou, viu que era melhor. Ult do Takeshi em cima dele para tentar ficar vivo, o Zantúlio pula em cima dele, double kill do BRTT. Jogando a partida, a gente conseguiu a primeira vitória, conseguiu a segunda, e no último jogo a gente já estava muito confiante, a gente já entrou no jogo sabendo que ia ganhar, a gente fez, não, é só finalizar o jogo, não tem mais como eles conseguirem ganhar. O Next está pelado, e é GG! Vitória do time da PEN! Então, quando a gente conseguiu destruir o Nexus, a gente já estava todo mundo muito alegre na cabine, a gente estava querendo explodir, ir para fora, fazer alguma coisa. E eu me lembro que quando eu saí, só eu fui para a plateia, assim, o pessoal comemorou e tal, mas eu realmente estava muito entusiasmado, muito feliz.
quantidade de fãs que vão e torcem, a plateia é muito grande, o pessoal grita muito, o pessoal torce, o pessoal adora. Dá pra ver na cara deles que eles amam o esporte tanto quanto a gente. Isso me deixa muito feliz.
Último aí, meu. Vai, meu!
Tô com vergonha, quer pegar?
A gente tenta criar um clima de família aqui. A gente é uma família, todo mundo mora junto, o problema de um é do outro. A gente quer sempre deixar eles sempre à vontade.
A galera tá brigando aí pelo último. Vai sair um documentário isso aí. Meu.
Oh,
poxa,
isso? Os caras fazem mágica aqui, meu.
As nossas atuações com o negócio da Razer são muito boas, né?
Então, o clima de família é legal porque o jogador fica feliz, se sentir em casa.
Bom, como eu morava só com a minha mãe, ela ficou um pouquinho assustada no início, não sabia se ela apoiava ou não, mas depois que ela foi pro primeiro campeonato dela, ela viu a torcida e toda aquela vibração, ela se apaixonou e torce até hoje. Sempre me apoiou, eu sou muito grato a ela por isso, porque eu sei que nem todo mundo tem essa sorte.
Two years before Pain Gaming even existed, North America's oldest team still active today was already winning championships. They were called Counter Logic Gaming.
CLG started off as like a community, actually, and the community like evolved, and there was tons of CLG fans, and like there are tons of people in the community. We kind of put two and two together, and we're like, hey, let's make a team, and just call it CLG, and we'll kind of like fuse the two.
Back when I was like leveling up my character in League, I just wanted to figure out how I can get better at this game. So I usually just look at like the best like professional players. And at the time, Hotshot was one of the most popular streamers playing in Italy. I watched like literally like 200 games of Hotshot.
We were dominant back in the day. Like we never lost a game, and if we lost a game, we never lost a series. So it was pretty. We had a stranglehold over like the League of Legends competitive scene, and we were just crushing everyone.
Hotshot is a really passionate and enthusiastic guy.
While Hotshot's asleep in his cute prop, he random Nocturne jungle though.
Oh, I don't think he's gonna wake up.
He's like a zombie. He's never around in the daytime and he wakes up at nighttime. So the example is last night he woke up at 4 a.m. when I was up and it scared the shit out of me because he just walked over here and he's like,
I'm not like too business centric and like obsessed with becoming the most wealthy person or esports team. I think my central focus is just to have everybody around me enjoying what they do.
He would always have the best interests of his friends at heart. It would always be friends first, then business. So it just goes to show like what kind of nice guy he is. And he's the reason that I'm on CLG to begin with.
Doublelift is an AD carry. That's his role. He's been playing it for several years now. His role on the team is to sort of be most of the time in the back line, doing a bunch of damage to the opponents and really just showing up halfway through a fight, sometimes even, and just taking out a bunch of people and killing the opponents. But sometimes he doesn't always do that. Sometimes he likes to play the more in-your-face AD carries.
Link's just on the backside coming in to help, and it's going to be Doublelift. Doubly taking on the Nexus by himself.
My preferred style of play, probably pretty overly aggressive. I don't like to sit back and do nothing. I like to make like really big plays. I like looking for the pentakills or looking for the sick 1v1, 1v2, 1v3.
He flashes into safety and a kill on the yellow beat. Here comes that Guardian Angel. The 1-2-3, no, he misses it, but he sits back in. Another 400 gold for Double. Just gonna get a penta. Triple kill for this. The one kill, penta for Double. Penta kill, Doublelift.
Wow, what a way to get an ace at the end of a 48-minute game.
Generally, I want to make the big plays.
Doublelift growing up was kind of similar to me, never really got into traditional sports. He comes from a very traditional Chinese family who felt that he should go off and become a pharmacist or a biomedical engineer or something like that. And he just was always into gaming.
Chinese culture, it's just about success. It's all about how much money you make, you know, how, are you a celebrity, are you a doctor? Okay, good. I start like getting into really big arguments with my parents about like, should I become a pro? Like, this is what I really want to do. My parents really just want me to go to school and study biology. And I was just thinking about it like, wow, studying biology just sounds horrible. Like, I could be a pro gamer. You know, this is my only opportunity that I'm gonna get in my whole life, I think.
Whenever he saw the alternate pathway that he could take, he just decided to really go after that. And that definitely strained his relationship with his parents.
We just got into a lot of altercations and just ended up, I got kicked out of the house.
Hello, my name is Doublet, formerly of Epic Gamer, and today I became homeless AMA. He had just, in the middle of a fight, gotten up and took his computer and left with nothing but the clothes on his back. He was trying to figure out what to do, and it turned out actually that he lived pretty close to me, about 30 minutes away. It just kind of made sense to me that while this guy was waiting to go to college, maybe he could live with me, and I figured I'd just reach out. I had gone through a similar experience the summer before I went to college, so I figured, oh, maybe I can help him and he can move in with me for the summer. Like, if you believe in fate or whatever, it definitely felt like everything just kind of came together because we were really, really close friends right out the gate. And within a week or so, he had decided that he wasn't going to college because he wanted to keep doing the competitive gaming and he felt like that he could afford it. He decided to do that, and I remember telling him, I wish that I could do something in esports like you because I think it's really interesting. So he suggested that I interview League of Legends pros because no one was doing that. Ended up sort of starting my career just by doing that as a hobby, and eventually became this thing. And so I definitely owe a huge debt to him. On the other hand, he was able to continue pursuing gaming because of me. So I think it's kind of neat that both of us were able to help each other get to the places where we are.
You don't have any choice in the name that you're born with. Like, my name is really hard to pronounce and it's super Chinese, so I just have like an American name, Peter, and I tell everyone my name is Peter. But when you get into esports, you have the choice. You can, at any time, you can change your name, and I think that's super cool that you get to choose what people call you.
The GG part I got from playing like Warcraft 3, and like it was a big manner thing to say GG at the end of the game. So that's where I got it from, Hotshot GG.
My handle is from World of Warcraft. I wanted to do something with my afro, and I was like, okay, afro, I play cow, and then just clicked.
Your parents chose this name for you, but when you get into esports, like, it's like a whole new life. You have like this new persona where you can, if you're like this super shy nerd like I was, you can just start being super cocky. You get to choose like how people see you, and your name is super important for that too. So I really like that about esports, and I think in traditional sports it's a shame that they can't do that too.
But if you say you can leave with me, I'll tell you everything. any interesting stories that the world hasn't heard about your teammates that you would like to share?
Fuck you, Link.
Mordekaiser, BR.